Hey everybody, welcome to another episode. Bill, what episode are we on? 18, I think. This is 18, pretty sure. You guys can all correct me in the comments. Welcome to another episode of Dreams Unveiled. And it is my distinct pleasure today to introduce my friend Nikki. And before I go too far, I really need to say I am running out of friends. If you would love to be featured on the podcast, either in person or by Zoom, please send me an email to dreams@daunw.com. So that's dreams@daunw.com. Love to have you. I'd love to hear your story. And no matter how simple or weird or ridiculous your dream is, it will benefit people. It will help them and it will help you. Dreams heal us. We learn from them. They really have great meaning. So with all of that said, I'm here with Nikki. How are you, Nikki?
Well, I'm glad to be here, so thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for being here. Means a lot. Anyway, with no further ado, Nikki, I'd love for you to share your dream and anything you think would be helpful.
There's been a lot of turmoil and changes in my life over the last few years, and I am a dreamer. I have many dreams. I almost sometimes think I have a dream disorder, but I remember my dreams vividly in vivid color. But this particular dream just a few weeks ago was very impactful. I dreamed that there was a person or a body, it could have been me, that there was a heavy chain and a hook attached deeply in my belly. And in this dream, this was a heavy chain. I mean, this could have pulled a tractor trailer out of a ditch, but this dream and this hook became undone and literally was released from my stomach and was removed out of my stomach, up my esophagus and out my throat. And after that, I was in halfway between dream and sleep, awake or however. And I was like, wow, what does this mean? And like, I dreamed this way, so it wasn't unusual. And then I felt, okay, this is good. And then, I guess milliseconds or whatever dream time is, the dream went strange again. It was a deep pool of water, that there was a person sinking in this water, sinking into the dark, into the deep. And I was like, oh no. And I was standing at the edge of this pool of water, and I was just yelling, come back, don't go, come back. And this person started to rise up out of the water, and I felt just overwhelming. I could see them coming, floating back up to the surface out of the deep, dark place. And I felt hopeful, but also shook. I was shook up. I can't tell you. I woke up and I was shook. I can't say that I was okay. I was shook, but I've been thinking about it, and like I said, I don't share easily like this, and so I thought I would bring it here and see what Dawn and the Holy Spirit had to say.
Oh, well, I'm glad for the opportunity. I am. It's an interesting dream, and before I actually go into it, I do want to say, because we haven't talked about this for a while, in our dreams are weird because a different part of our brain is operating when we're dreaming. And a lot of times people don't remember their dreams because once they wake up, it's a whole different part, of the dream in your waking time. So most people dream about 6 times a night and they don't remember it. And I would count it as a blessing, for good or bad,
Right.
that you do have these memories because, or that you remember your dream, because dreams actually help to solidify your emotional memory. And they actually are healing. When we're sleeping, we're most in a position to be healed. And it's really quite a beautiful thing. So I want to say that because these dreams are probably really important. You're going through an awful lot right now. Mm-hmm. Your life has had a tremendous amount of change, and I think this dream is really a message of hope, even though it probably didn't feel that way. A lot of times when we wake up, we have great concern or are shaken by our dreams, even though in the dream we may not experience that because, like I said, you're remembering, and then you switch to a different part of your dream that is now looking at things and feeling very differently about it. But I think this is an interesting dream of hope. So I'm just going to go through.
Okay.
Anything I say and you're like thinking, no, that doesn't seem to fit, say that, because no matter what I say, what matters is what really resonates and makes sense to you.
Okay.
So I think that's going to be very important. But in the beginning, mm-hmm. There you are with this chain protruding from your belly, and I think one of the ways to really look at that, when you were describing it to me, I'm thinking it's an umbilical cord, right? And one thing I will say about the stomach and why it would come out of there, because oftentimes that is kind of a standard symbolism for your inner self, your emotional self, all of that, everything from the gut, right? We know this. You're a nurse, so so I think that is probably a big part, and that is a really great use of that imagery. I also think, from the standpoint of umbilical cord, birth really means change in dreams. When we are giving birth, when we have babies, even at my age, if I suddenly have a baby, I recognize I'm going through a period of change. So it's something to really be excited about, because typically...
But the baby was coming out of her throat?
No, that's just the cord, Bill. Oh, okay. No, I'm just saying the symbolism.
Yeah. Right.
So, and yes, Bill Whittaker is in the peanut gallery here behind the scenes.
If you want to be a part of the studio audience, write to Daun, change it, Daun W.
And you could sit next to Bill.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
So I love that because I think there's really a lot to that process for you. It could mean so many different things. I think one of the greatest things that is that really a kind of a purification, and basically, and I want you to think about this. I feel like that everything you're going through, even some of the more nominal things like a new job, all of these things, I feel like there's this opportunity, and what's actually happening, and I'll go into this more, is that you're really having this opportunity to let go of things. That there are probably feelings that you don't really get to deal with because you're too busy dealing with day-to-day life, right? You have a family, you have a home, you have a dog, you have a new job, you are, sometimes you've done ministry with us, you've had to make changes, you travel a lot, you have, there's just so much. That list can go on and on. And I think this dream actually represents a point where you said, I've had enough. I need to do something different. Mm-hmm. I need to make a change.
I agree with that, Daun.
And that's what's so beautiful about it. So the idea of the rebirthing or the purification is really, it's time to purge some old beliefs, some old thought processes, some unhealthy coping strategies, all of this stuff. It's time for it to go. And you are recognizing that it's time for it to go. And that's why you're having the dream. And I think if you really look at some of your other dreams recently, they probably all have a theme, the same theme, even if they look like very different dreams. So I think that's really a very cool thing, first and foremost. So you're kind of connected to this chain, and it's coming out of that emotional inner self, and kind of holding you captive. It's not like, I'd hate to see you just trying to run a marathon with this thing attached, even though that's not implied that you couldn't in the dream, but that imagery, right, is there. You're stuck.
I'm stuck.
And
I agree with you.
And there is so much.
I feel stuck.
And so I think this dream is a recognition of it's time to change. And it means that in the conscious, in the waking world, you're ready, okay? You don't feel ready,
No.
but you're ready, okay? I just want to let you know we have a cat that may be changing the settings on the soundboard.
I just heard like a cheer or something in the background.
That's a chubby cat.
She is. She's lost weight. That's what the vet said, so I'm okay with that. So anyway, let's go to part 2 of the dream. Because then you, first of all, you're shedding this umbilical cord, this tie
Right.
is now left you. Literally coming out of your gut and just coming out of your mouth, and the chain is dropped, which really shows decision for change. And then here's what I believe. I think the person represents that part of you that is so weighed down by the past, that is so weighed down by the unhealthy coping strategies, that is so weighed down by all of the hurt and the uncertainty and the grief from losses you've had recently, all of it. And you're watching that kind of, sink to the bottom of a kind of a dark body of water, a dark lake where you're just sinking, and it was by your words telling that part of you to come back. It's time to be whole. Mm-hmm. This is about wholeness. It's time to be whole. And you see that person emerging, or that part of you emerging to the light again. Mm-hmm. Because you recognize, I'm done. Mm-hmm. I need a new way. Life is filled with trials. We go through some pretty rough stuff, right? But it's through our trials that we find our strength, right? And our character develops. And you are a warrior, and you're, this is something that you're growing from.
Right.
And I think that's really what the dream was. And there was no black cat in the dream, though, right?
No, but she's there now. But
she's fine.
She's pretty funny.
She is.
Yeah, I got a feeling she's going to
take
take
time
she's actually been
jumped in on the film.
I got a feeling as long as she doesn't take a flying leap and knock the glass of water over.
No, she's not. I'm opening the blind for her.
Is that what she wants?
Yeah, she wants to get in the window. She can't see anything out this window, but that's okay. There we go. She's my burrowing cat.
Well, I tell you, I feel that's. I've been sitting on this dream now for weeks. I haven't written it in my journal yet, but I do definitely feel that I have to make changes. Mm-hmm. And, and I'm not quite sure how that's going to look.
Well, and I understand that. And just know that you're almost being encouraged through your dreams that it's going to be okay. There's a lot of hope that the chain comes out, right? That you and that's a release of all of that stuff in you.
Right.
It's a release.
Right.
You will be released from from those burdens.
Right.
And it is time. It is time for you to be freed for that.
Right.
And the hope that your words were able to call that part of you back and say, we don't live down there.
Right.
And that's really a beautiful, hopeful image.
I feel like, I don't know what the song is, close to the edge, down by the river. Seasons will pass you by.
Yep.
I get up. I think, who is that? Yes, that's Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yes songs. Anyway, I appreciate you listening and interpreting and leading me through this, because it's definitely put a different spin on it.
Well, I want you to pay attention to other dreams, and they can actually mark your progress in this journey, or show you where you're at, or maybe if you're not dealing with something, repressed emotions and anxiety Anxiety is probably the primary emotional experience in dreams, just so we all know that.
Anxiety is rough.
It is.
It doesn't come from God.
Nope. And I don't think it's something that we deal with well, and that's why it manifests in dreams so much.
Right. And I understand that. My thinking brain knows that. But my heart, I think, gets shocked.
Yep.
But my brain knows one thing, but my heart, and so I have to get my brain and my heart together. But that's a work in progress.
Well, just remember, you were at the same conference as I was, where it says, or this is in a book, but we both read it. When it comes to matters of the heart and the brain, the heart always wins.
The heart always wins.
Yep. And I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
But so this dream may be really helping healing in your heart, so that you are able to go forward. So anytime you have a dream now about that, you're going to have to send it to me so I can say, oh yeah, look here's where you are now on this journey, and there's a lot of growth.
I'll send it to you.
Okay. That would be awesome. Don't worry, you don't have to come here every time. But
this is fun coming here. So
yeah, it's not.
You can do
It's not
Zoom,
bad.
and you can do over the phone.
yeah.
No, if I do over the phone, I need my friend Brooke here too. Yeah, I really do. Me by myself up here. So anyway, yes, enough about all of us. I just want to thank our special guests, Zilla the cat, Nikki, my live studio audience, Bill, who's also doing all the editing and clapping for himself right now. And I just want to thank everybody that really watches this and really gets something out of it. I ask that you like and subscribe, give me some material to work with, and learn. Take the opportunity to really learn from your dreams. Your dreams are part of how you were created, and they are a beautiful help and support, and really can help you to grow and change and recognize needs that you have. So I really encourage that. Dreams, even you may not remember them now. Maybe one of these will talk about how you can help yourself to remember more dreams. But just know they're happening whether you remember them or not. Mm-hmm. They're affecting your memory in a very positive way and help you to process and problem solve, even when you don't know that they're there. So with all of that said, thank you all for joining today, and I hope everyone has sweet dreams.